Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Tyler McNabb, and as most of you know, this is my 400EX. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than most of the videos that I make. So usually I'm either working on something, racing, or riding, or whatever. Today I just kind of want to talk about the upcoming season, some of the sponsors and stuff that I've got, and then just the future of the channel as a whole. And so I'll kind of start out just by summarizing the build. I went through with this thing, tore it all the way down to the frame, got it powder coated, and then just totally rebuilt it from the ground up, replacing things like bearings, like in the A-arms and swing arm, different bushings, bolts that were stripped or worn out, basically anything that was worn out and that needed replaced. I went ahead and did that, and then as you see it now, we have a fully rebuilt quad ready for the 2022 race season. So first thing I'll go into is start talking about my sponsors this year. And so the reason I want to do that is because without them, this build would not have been possible. A lot of them really helped me out, and I was able to go through and probably buy some parts that I wouldn't have been able to buy without these sponsors. So first thing I want to do is go through and thank them. So the first one, and a really big one, is you've heard me mention them before, Rissler's Extreme ATV. I've got some swag on right now from them, a nice sweatshirt, and they are my local kind of power sports shop here in Brazil, Indiana. That's where I'm from, and he's kind of your one-stop shop. He does services, so he does everything from like engine rebuilds to oil changes, and then he also orders parts. He can order from a ton of different people, as well as the major suppliers like Western Power Sports and Parts Unlimited and that kind of thing. So if you're in the Brazil area, or even Terre Haute, Greencastle, even Indy, or anything, and you're in need of some parts, hit him up. He's really great to work with, and he's honestly, I think I've been working with him since I was racing back in the youth. So I've probably been working with him for quite a while, and then after my little hiatus of getting away from racing and then now getting back in, he was more than happy to help me out this year as well, now that I'm really getting back into it. So that's kind of the first big one. I usually get all a lot of my major parts from him, whether it's OEM stuff or chains, sprockets, that kind of, basically anything that I need, he can get for me. So that's the first one. Second one I want to talk about is Adams Suspension. So you've probably heard me mention him before, and that's Nick Adams out of Greencastle, Indiana. He actually used to own Jet Suspension, so if you ever heard the name Jet Suspension, or if you've heard of that company, he was the original owner of Jet Suspension. He got out of the suspension game for a while to focus on his full-time job, and then now that his full-time job has kind of come back a little bit, he has a lot more time where he can do other stuff, and so he's gotten back into servicing suspension and whatnot. So if you're in that same area that I was kind of talking about earlier, Brazil, Terre Haute, Greencastle, Indianapolis, Bloomington, any of those areas, don't be afraid to hit him up. He does amazing suspension work. He really knows his stuff, and he'll treat you right. So Adams Suspension, get with them for all your suspension needs. Another one I want to mention is Hauser Racing. So that's one of the sponsors I had jump on board this year. As you guys know, or may or may not know, I have pretty much any Hauser part you can get on this quad for the 400s. I have the long travel A-arms, which unfortunately they don't make long travel A-arms anymore, but they still do make standard travel A-arms. So if you're looking for a good set of standard travel A-arms, hit Hauser Racing up. I've also got the first gen of Nerf bars on this quad. They're actually off of the 450, but if you've seen my Nerf bar video, you know that you can modify the 450 Nerfs to fit on the 400. So I've got that. I've also got the extended swing arm that unfortunately they no longer make, but overall those are great products. I've got a brand new Hauser steering stem. This is actually a 450 stem as well, just got it. And then also I've got their little dash that I put on here to hold my key and that kind of stuff. And I think that's it for Hauser Racing. So that's what I've got from Hauser Racing. Great company to work with. They make really great durable products. Yeah, their stuff's kind of pricey, but you're paying for good quality parts. And most suspension companies nowadays, the prices are up there anyway, so you might as well pay for good stuff and get some quality parts. So hit up Hauser Racing. Next one I just recently got hooked up with this sponsor right before the season starts. GBC tires. I've been running GBC tires for quite a few years, just on my quads in general, and they're great tires. This year I was able to pick them up as a sponsor, so I've always ran the GBC XC Master in the past, and that's what I'm still going to run on the front, but I just placed an order for some GBC Groundbuster 3s for the rear. And I've never tried them, but a lot of people that XC race and run GBC tires run the GBC Groundbuster 3, and they really like it. So I figured I'd go ahead and try it now that I'm sponsored by them this year. And so hopefully those tires will be here shortly. I can get them on before the first race of the year. And yeah, so any sort of tire needs that you have, and they don't make just ATV tires. They make truck tires, they make like golf cart tires, trailer tires, all different kinds of stuff. So hit them up for any of your tire needs. Next one I've got is HMF Racing. So that was another sponsor I was lucky enough to pick up. I've always ran pretty much, as far as I can think, I've always ran HMF exhaust. I love their exhaust, so I figured if I could pick them up as a sponsor, that would just add to it. So I was able to get them, and as you guys have seen in a previous video, got a brand new competition series exhaust on this thing, and it sounds great, it looks great, and their products usually hold up really well, and they make good quality exhaust that a lot of guys run. So hit up HMF Racing for any exhaust. Next one I've got is Forworks. I was able to pick them up as well. And so Forworks makes a lot of kind of flashy stuff. So they do a lot with carbon fiber composites, as well as they just do a lot of plastic stuff as well. But one of the big things that I've got from them is this beautiful Forworks carbon fiber hood that a lot of people ask about. And so this one is specifically made for the 99 to 04 models. And unfortunately, you do have to cut the headlights off, but like in my case, I wasn't running the headlights. I never used them, and now the headlight switch doubles as my fan switch. So I cut off the headlights and then put this beautiful carbon fiber hood on, and it gives a whole new look to the 400. So they also make, they make them for 450s, and then a lot of people with the newer style, I think it's the 05 to 08, or no, 05 to 07 model 400 EXs. A lot of people put the Forworks 450 hoods on them, and they look really good too. So hit up Forworks for any of your flashy parts. I'll probably order a couple more parts from them here mid-year, just to kind of set the 400 apart a little bit more. So next one I've got is PowerMad. So I've pretty much always ran PowerMad handguards. That's who my local dealer Risslers has always stocked, so that's who I've always ran. They make good quality handguards, as well as the PowerMad gauntlets. If you're in the XC racing world, I assume you probably know what a PowerMad gauntlet is. It's the big black handguards that go all the way around and pretty much encapsulate your handlebars and your grips, and they work really well for keeping the water and keeping the wind down and keeping the mud off your hands, because there'll be crazy muddy races where, like, if I don't have to take my hands out and get them all muddy, I'll get done and my whole body will be covered in mud, but then my hands and my gloves look like they were never even out on the racetrack. So hit up PowerMad for any handguard needs. They make good stuff. The next one I'm going to get into is not any quad parts, but gear. And so I was able to pick up Fly Racing as a sponsor this year, and I've always ran Fly Racing gear-wise. I don't think I've ever ran anything else other than Fly Racing. I always thought they they have good designs. They're always coming up with fresh designs and stuff, and it's also quality gear. You know, I don't think I've ever had a set of gear that's ripped on me or anything like that, or been torn or worn or anything like that. So, and then also coming with Fly Racing, it was kind of cool because I guess Fly Racing either is part of Western Power Sports or kind of owns Western Power Sports. I can't remember, or maybe it's Western Power Sports owns Fly. I can't remember. But basically, their business relationship, I get a lot of discounts on other gear through them as well. So I was able to get some Scott goggles this year. That's what I'm going to run for my goggles, and I haven't ran them yet, but they look like good quality goggles, and I know quite a few people that run them, so I'm looking forward to that, as well as Alpine Star boots. Good quality boot, very comfortable. I always run the Tech 3s. So basically it's their base level boot, but it is a great boot. It's very comfortable, very durable, and good to go. And so that's all the major sponsors that I've got this year that actually gave me either some sort of discount or something. But I've got some honorable mentions that I want to put out there that I'm not actually sponsored by, but I'm going to continue to use their product or service because they do good work. And so one of the first ones is 834 Powder Coating out of Terre Haute, Indiana. And so they're the ones who did the powder coating on this build. So they did my frame, A-arms, bumper, the Nerf bars, and the swing arm and the subframe. And it all turned out really well. I don't think I ever found a single spot that was either light coated or not coated at all. They totally got everything. And plus with how they do it, they've got some sort of pulse set up on their gun to where they didn't even really plug hardly any of the frame holes, but there was hardly any of them that actually had powder coat in them, to the point that like a bolt wouldn't screw in or something. So they do really good work with that, and yeah, I can't say enough good stuff about them. Another one I'm going to mention is Pro Graphics out of Ohio. So Elizabeth Harper is the new owner of Pro Graphics, and this kit I actually got done last year, a little over a year ago. It was actually in May of 2021. And as of right now, I'm not going to change anything up. I love the graphics kit. It's holding up really well, and yeah, I think it looks great. It just goes, overall it goes well with what I originally envisioned. And so yeah, and with that kit, I mean, just to kind of show you, like, she didn't have anything on file for this hood. There's no template on file. You know, all the plastics and stuff, she's got a template on file for that she can print out the graphics, send them to me, and they go right on. And so all I had to do is I took some pictures of it, sent her some approximate dimensions, and then she sent me this hood graphic, and it turned out pretty darn good for her not like actually having the hood there to measure and stuff. So that was really cool. And then she also did some mud plug graphics as well as shock graphics for me, and yeah, they turned out really well. And so any sort of graphics that you need, hit up Pro Graphics out of Ohio, Elizabeth Harper. Hit her up on Facebook. They do good work. So, and then the last thing I'm going to talk about is another piece of gear. I used to run a neck brace back when I used to race youth, and then we sold it when I got out of it, and then when I slowly got back into it, I haven't been wearing one, honestly, because they were expensive and I just couldn't spend the money on one. And so now that I've got a good job and I'm, you know, really getting back into racing, I'm gonna do it full time, try to do it full time this year. I wanted to get a neck brace again. And so previously I had ran Leats, and nothing against Leats, they're a great brand, they make a great neck brace, but they are very expensive. And so a new brand that's relatively new that I decided to try this year is Atlas. And Atlas, which they've actually been making neck braces for quite a while, but they've just really gotten big the last couple of years. And so the neck brace I am using is the Atlas Air neck brace. And so far, I mean, I haven't ridden with it, but I've tried it on. It feels good and everything. And a lot of big names use it. I know like Walker Fowler, he runs one. I think John Glada Jr. runs one. Cole Richardson runs one. So, you know, they're nothing to slouch at. They're a good brand, and they're about half the price of the carbon fiber neck brace that Leat makes. but it actually weighs less than what the carbon fiber Liab weighs. So overall, seems to be a good brand, and I can't wait to try them out this year. So that's going to do it for sponsors. Next thing I kind of want to talk about is I want to get into kind of my 2022 goals. And so first thing I want to talk about is just racing in general. Like I've said in some past videos, the plan is to run Extreme XC full-time this year. That's going to be the main series that I'm going to compete in, and then as well as I'll hit the 2 Indiana GNCCs this year, so the Hoosier in May, and then of course Ironman in October, one of the best races of the year, good times. So focus on Extreme XC, and then I'll hit a couple IXCR Midwest for the closer ones and that kind of thing. I will be competing in the Junior C 22 plus class, so C class is what I'm going to run. And my goal, you know, everyone always says, you know, a good goal is, you know, to win the class. Everybody wants to win, but honestly, my realistic goal is I want to get top 3 in class. You know, if I can win, I will be ecstatic, but my realistic kind of goal for this is going to be, I want to be consistent, you know, finish races, and I want to get top 3 in class. That's my ultimate goal. Maybe a little bit of a stretch, but it would be cool if I could, you know, make it on the overall podium for the morning race. Like I said, that's probably a little bit of a stretch, but I'm going to work at it. I'm going to try to meet these goals. And then kind of a side goal for the national races. My goal for the national races was always top 50%. I wanted to get top 50% in class and top 50% in overall for my race. I was able to finally do that at Ironman. So now my next goal is to actually finish decent and get like a plaque at the nationals. That might sound kind of cheesy, but that's my goal, is I want to be able to get a plaque. I actually, at Ironman, I missed it by 2 places, so I was really close, but that's kind of my goals, my ultimate goals for racing. So kind of how I'm planning to achieve those goals is, as you saw, me and Dad did quite a bit of riding this last fall. I haven't ridden in a while, so I am a little bit out of shape, but you may have seen the workout equipment we've got in kind of the background of some of my videos, and we just recently got that this last fall. And I had mentioned in previous videos that if I really wanted to be competitive at this, I need to start working out. So that's what I've been trying to do a lot more consistently, is doing some workouts, some upper body stuff, lower body stuff. I'll try to do a lot of leg stuff because that was a thing that hindered me a lot, is I wasn't able to stand up quite as long as I should have been able to. And so I was having to sit down and then just getting beaten up and stuff. So been trying to do a lot of working out, a little bit of weight training. I have the stamina relatively well. I was a cross-country runner in high school, and that's just kind of stuck with me. So like, I can go out and run a couple miles fairly easy. That's not a huge deal. I did do some running over the winter, but I really just wanted to focus on getting a little bit more strength overall in my body. As you guys have probably seen, I'm not a very big or bulky guy. I am like 5'8", and probably when I started working out, I was only like 125 pounds. So yeah, I was kind of skin and bones. But over the winter, I have gained a little bit. I'm hoping it's muscle because I've been working out. But I think right now I'm about at like 130, 135 in that range. So I've gained probably 5 to 10 pounds. Hopefully it was muscle. But I guess we'll see once the race season starts. So those are my goals for the 2022 race season. And then some other goals that aren't racing really related would be YouTube. And so currently when I'm making this video, I'm sitting at 482 subscribers. And so I've been doing YouTube kind of consistently for about the last 12 months. My first real video that I started kind of doing this YouTube stuff was my carrier bearing video that I did on this, and that was pretty much right at a year ago. I had a couple videos that I did before, but those were just basically a couple races that I threw on here and there. So been doing it for about 12 months, sitting at 482 subscribers. So by the end of the year, I definitely want to hit 1,000 subscribers. I think maybe a more realistic goal, hopefully a good goal, would be closer to 1,500. I'm hoping with the racing content and stuff that I can maybe get to 1,000 subscribers by the middle of the year. That's kind of a good goal that I've got. And then as well as I just want to provide you guys with some good content. You know, make sure that I'm doing stuff that you guys enjoy, that you guys want to watch, and just overall trying to improve the YouTube channel as I go on. So that's pretty much all I've got for this video. I kind of wanted to sit down and make this video, you know, talk and thank my sponsors, because without them, like I said, this build wouldn't have been possible. I probably wouldn't have been able to afford some of that stuff. And also just kind of inform you of my goals and tell you about what the 2022 season is going to look like for me. So with that, I guess I kind of want to ask you guys a couple questions, or you guys a question, and say, what do you guys want to see for the 2022 season, or the year of 2022? You know, of course, I'm going to be doing as much racing as I can, so there's going to be that racing content. With the racing content, you know, I've got my raw race footage that I always upload. I try to do a vlog when I'm at the races, just kind of show you around the races. But then I've also thought about doing like maybe another race video to where maybe it's highlights of the race, and then I do kind of a voiceover, you know, talking what it kind of looked like, what I was thinking as I was going through. I try to talk a little bit during the races, but that's hard a lot of times because I may not be focused. And so that's kind of something I'm getting into the realm of, is thinking about doing a voiceover of my race. And that would just be like highlights, maybe a 10-15 minute video, just kind of sharing some highlights from the race. And then I would still continue to upload just the raw race footage, and then do a vlog as well. So let me know what you guys think of that. And then, you know, what else do you want to see? You know, I try to do some riding here and there. When race season really hits, I don't ride quite as much because I like to, a lot of times, just keep the quad clean for race season, and especially if I'm working on it, I want it to be clean. You guys want to see like how-to videos, like when I'm working on them? Do you guys prefer just like time lapses, or do you prefer step-by-step videos, me showing you guys how I do stuff? You know, because how I do things may not necessarily be the right way, but I'll just show you how I do stuff, how I've done stuff in the past. Gear or product reviews, you know, I've got quite a few parts on here. I have experience with most of them, so, you know, if you want some product reviews or gear reviews of what I wear, or just anything else that you can think of, let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see for the year of 2022. I think it's going to be a good overall year. Hopefully get some good racing in, get some other stuff. Hopefully my dad will join in, do a little bit of racing this year, and then you know, maybe next winter we'll be doing a build on that quad. That's the plan, hopefully, anyway. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming and watching. Hopefully you weren't too bored by this video. Hopefully it was decently entertaining, me talking about that stuff. So yeah, I want to thank you guys coming back to the channel, commenting, subscribing, liking the videos, all that. So I really do appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.